People love to hate brutalism.
Eileen Fuchs is the museum's president.
They're characterized by things, but that's not where the word comes from. Brutalism actually is kind of a derivation of a French term of béton brut, which means raw concrete.
What is that inspiration for this style?
It's a post-World War II moment when we are looking at European cities that need to be rebuilt quickly.
DC Metro, I say subway, sorry, but
Yes.
the DC Metro is absolutely, I think of it as gorgeous.
Stunning, it's stunning, and it brings out the beauty of the architecture and the design and the symmetry and the grandiosity.
The FBI building, maybe not as much.
The FBI building, I believe, was at one point called the ugliest building in America.
And reimagine what you could do with this.
Exactly. So you take a building like this, the Forrestal building that looked like just relentlessly monotonous, and the architects here are imagining take out a section of it. Bring in new light, bring in new use, bring in people who live here, work here, play there in a totally new way. This building is vibrant, it's different.
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting to work with something that's already there and try to adapt it to the new energy that we put into them, the embodied energy.
I look at the Forrestal building and I see faceless bureaucracy.
Justin Shubo is an architecture critic. Forget reimagine, he wants the buildings gone.
You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
If they're buildings that are still in existence, even if it is a small segment of society, even if it is simply elite architects, isn't this a part of our history?
Well, I don't think the world is a museum of architecture. The world is a living, breathing state.
So if the world is not a museum of architecture, if our architecture of society isn't out in the world, where is it meant to be?
No, what I mean is we should preserve good buildings.
But good by what you believe it to be, not everybody. And I do know the majority of people, there's no doubt. Brutalism was not accepted and people didn't like it, but there are architects who see a purpose in taking this recollection of the past, of this era, and having it out there. This next administration, that the focus will be back there in trying to get a national look for federal buildings.
Well, I think that executive order was very important and highly popular with the public.
As we look to an urban future that needs so many different ways of life and livability for people of all incomes, of all ages, you're going to need different architectural directions to address these problems.
Would we be missing something culturally if we didn't have different forms of architecture?